Let's take you through some business stories now. OPEC and its allies, including Russia, agreed to increase crude oil production cuts to 3.66 million barrels per day, or 3.7% of global demand. The surprise announcement helped push up prices by $5 per barrel to above $85 per barrel. The United States had argued that the world needed lower prices to support economic growth and prevent Russian President Vladimir Putin from earning more revenues to fund the Ukraine war. Now, financial analyst and the CEO Ashir Dynamic Solutions, Mukhtar Mohammed, joins me on the news for more of this. Thank you, Mukhtar, for joining me.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, we've seen that the OPEC Plus has made a recent decision on the further oil output cuts. What do you make of that?
Well, I think OPEC is trying to increase price stability. Remember, this was crude oil price was at above $100, so it was moving downward to almost like $70 before it got to $75. And so OPEC decided to look that for us to continue to have stability in the market, we need to cut our outputs. I think that's exactly what they did. Even if you look at the countries that voluntarily agreed to cut output, it's even more political than because Russia is not normally a member of the of OPEC. But fortunately, I think Russia is crashing in on it and say they also cut out by 500%. I think, and that also made the US to be involved in it, saying that it will give more money to Russia for them to prosecute the war against Ukraine.
Okay. And I mean, the United States has also argued that the production cuts were responsible for the growing cost of energy. And it also expressed fears that further cuts will help Russia earn more from crude oil and ultimately fund the war in Ukraine. And we know how long this war has dragged. Now, should this be a concern, seeing that the oil-producing countries are the biggest winners as cuts in oil production leads to increase in price of oil?
I think the US is not far from the truth, but also if the US also wants the price of crude to come down, they also have to also release their strategic reserve because they have the largest reserve of crude. I mean, largest reserve of refined petroleum product and even crude. So definitely, I think what OPEC is saying that we have to do what we ought to do to maintain price stability. About Russia, you've cut off Russian gas supply. Also, you've cut off some of your allies from buying oil from Russia. I think that should be enough for now. That's what the OPEC feel. And again, remember that Russia is not even a member of OPEC, and it just sometimes fall in line with what OPEC is doing. If you look at the major producer of oil, they are mostly friends of OPEC, and of friends of America. When you look at United Arab Emirates, you look at Saudi Arabia, all these are the largest producer of oil, but they also friends of America. So definitely, I think what they are trying to send to me, we need stability in our market. We need to maintain price stability. You have to find a way to deal with Russia.
All right, Mukhtar, if this goes through properly, well, how do you think that the beneficiaries of this oil, I mean, the different countries that benefit from the oil exportation, will also benefit from this price regulation and price maintenance? I mean, they've said that they need lower prices to support economic growth, and that also goes for each country that benefits, and it also prevents the Russian president from funding the war. So how do you think that the countries that benefit from this will also benefit from the price maintenance?
Well, it depends on what the strategy of the countries that will benefit are. If you take my country, Nigeria, as an example, it will not do us any so much good because, again, what we think we gain in price, we lose in terms of importing of refined petroleum products into the country. So it depends. And I think a lot of countries are beginning to diversify because of the volatility that has to do with oil. So it depends on the strategy of each country because if you look at the recent oil boom, very few countries really benefited from it. The most those that benefited more are the countries that are with that do a lot of refining in their country. They were able to use the high price of crude to reduce some of the cost of their own petroleum products in their own country, cost of energy in their own country. But in other countries, those countries that only just deal on crude oil exportation, they didn't have enough capacity to meet local demands. They also suffered a lot because the price of energy went up. So definitely, those countries will need to come out with a strategy to see how they can mitigate against this becoming more challenges to their citizens.
All right, thank you so much, financial analyst and the CEO of Asher Dynamic Solutions, Mukhtar Mohammed. Thank you for having us or joining us on the news, rather.
My pleasure. Thank you.